Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a good one today. I'm Nick, and today I'm going deep into the woods to rank all three Blair Witch Project movies from worst to best. If you enjoy these type of franchise rankings, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future content. Without wasting any more time, let's dive in. Now, coming into last place, we got Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2 from 2000. This is a meta comedy horror sequel to the original, where the original film actually exists as a film, and like it went to theaters and everything. And we get a group of people who decide to go camp out at one of the filming locations of the first movie in the middle of the woods. Now, with me being a fan of meta horror and all the self-awareness that comes with it, I think that this was a really cool concept that they completely butchered. And aside from the concept, I think the soundtrack's the only other redeemable quality about this flick. It's a very industrial nu metal soundtrack with like System of a Down, Rob Zombie, Marilyn Manson, and it's great, but you don't want that in a Blair Witch movie. It has no right to being in this movie. It's like, or in this franchise. Most of the movie doesn't even take place in the woods, and there isn't a shred of tension or atmosphere to be found. Instead, we get these weird visions and hallucinations, which just comes off as cheap and bizarre, and even a bit confusing at times. And it was a really odd choice to show us flashes of the future. We can clearly see who survives at the end of this thing, so it's like you know which characters are safe and which ones aren't. And the whole final twist to this film was just completely dumb to me. Overall, this is just a mess of a sequel, and it's a real frustrating entry in the series. Now, coming in the second place, we got Blair Witch from 2016. Now, I feel like this sequel connects really well with the original. We get Heather's brother in this one. He wants to find answers about his missing sister and to see if she's still out there in the woods or what happened to her. So he goes out there to looking for answers with a group of friends. I think the setup is awesome. I like the modern take on things, how they have drones with cameras now, GPS, walkie-talkies. You know, they have everything to keep them safe, and there's no reason to get lost in these woods. But we know once they spend the night there what's going to happen. I like the characters in this film, but some of them make the dumbest decisions ever, and it's got me scratching my head. And also, the way the film looks, it looks a little too polished for this type of movie, for this type of found footage movie to feel real. But one of the major problems I do have with this film is the fact that its tension and scares are mostly delivered with jump scares. They're more startling you than actually getting inside your head psychologically. Of course, this is all leading up to the final act. The final act is terrifying. It's intense. It feels very claustrophobic. And the way the whole thing was shot in this last like 20 minutes or so, it really feels like you're in a survival horror video game or something. And the fact that they showed the witch in this film doesn't really bother me all that much. It's only done briefly, and I feel like they kind of had to give us more in this sequel, where the original, I think it really worked not showing her, but you know, after we get one film like that, you can't really do it over again. This is a decent modern horror flick, but honestly, I feel like it's going to be forgotten over time. It's not going to leave a long-lasting impact on people. But easily coming in the first place is the Blair Witch Project from 1999. This is one of the biggest found footage movies ever made, and for good reason. It may not have been the first, but it definitely put the genre on the map. With its low budget and the way it was shot, it really gives you that sense of realism where it feels like this could have actually happened. And it didn't help that they had all the myths and rumors surrounding this film on its release. People actually thought it was real, and I was kind of one of those people. It was late 90s, early 2000s. I was very young. I remember watching this on VHS after hearing all these rumors going around that this is a true story and this is actual footage, and it scared the shit out of me. Like, and that never really left me, knowing that even though now I know it's fake, since there was a time I thought it was real, that's always kind of in the back of my head. And as I mentioned, even watching this now, it still gets under my skin. It still makes me feel uneasy, and that's due to its brilliant use of atmosphere and sound design. Like they slowly crank up the tension with every scene. It's a kind of a slow burn, but once it starts going, it does not stop, and it just keeps escalating and escalating right till the final act. And each night that these characters spend in these woods, it just keeps cranking up the tension more and more, and it's really due to the fact of the fear of the unknown. We don't really get to see much in this movie. We see like piles of rocks and different things like that, but we don't get to see what puts them there. And it's that fear of the unknown that really gets under your skin. Two things: that never seeing the witch, and the fact that they're lost in the woods, which is another common fear that people have. And I feel like it deals with both those fears 100%. They couldn't have dealt with those two fears any better in this film. The concept to this is super original, and the cast really sell their characters. The main girl, Heather, can get a bit annoying throughout the course of this film, but I feel like she redeems herself by the end. And you really get to know all three of these characters so well by the end because we spend so much time with them. I don't even really consider this a film. I consider it more of an experience. And it's definitely a classic in my book, and that's why it easily comes in the first place. So there you have it, guys. There's my ranking on all three Blair Witch movies. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments which is your favorite, your least favorite. Have you seen them all? I'd love to have a discussion with you in the comments section. And until next time, guys, thanks for watching.